Good morning, guys. JT Tappy is here. It is Monday. Happy Memorial Day, and it's 8 a.m. So it's not early for me, but for most people it's pretty early. And so today I want to continue my series on temperament theory, and I want to talk about the choleric in control, which interestingly enough I happen to be. So let me tell you a little bit about how I've navigated that particular temperament for 39 years and how interesting it's been, and how asleep I was for 37 of those years until I realized what I was in my area of inclusion, affection, and control. In this particular case, I'm going to talk about the area of control because, once again, I consider that the rudder when it comes to fitness and nutrition, because we're strictly speaking about the will. And when it comes to fitness and nutrition, your will dictate whether you do or you don't do. And so I'm going to talk about the area of control. If you're lost and this is your first video, please go back to the other videos where I explain temperament theory. But in this particular case, we're going to speak about the choleric in control. So one of the things I want to say about the choleric in control, I want to start with the positive traits in the choleric, and always start with the positive note, right? And so cholerics are natural leaders. They're dominant, they're strong-willed, they're bold. They don't hold back. They say things the way, just the way they are. They don't sugarcoat them. They just tell things the way they are. And I remember being a kid and in the third, fourth grade, and I was the captain of my soccer team in fifth grade, sixth grade, and I wasn't necessarily voted to be the captain. I just kind of was one of the first people to raise my hand and say, hey, I'll do it. And we can go back into my childhood and figure out reasons why I felt like I had to be in control. But particularly when I found out about my temperament, I realized that it's one of the dominant traits inside of the choleric. So great trait to have when it comes to your fitness and nutrition. The negative sides of the choleric are they're overbearing, fastidious, basically. It's a very dominant temperament. We tend to burn bridges, and we tend to come across as not being sensitive simply because we're very bold in the way we say and do things. I don't walk out of my house saying, let me burn as many bridges as I can, or let me try to offend people. For me, really, it's this need to get things fixed now, right? And so because I have such a strong will, I feel like I want to fix things immediately. So if I'm preaching, I want to make sure whatever the situation is, I want to fix it there and then. If it's at the gym and someone has a challenge and they bring that challenge to me, I want to make sure that I don't sugarcoat anything, and I just go after the one particular thing that I feel is going to help that person. And sometimes I don't sugarcoat that enough, and that gets me in trouble. But it doesn't come from a bad heart. It just simply comes from me wanting to fix the problem then and there. The choleric will do anything he needs to do to achieve a plan. They're usually fueled by anger, competition, or the need for importance. So I know this sounds bad, especially when you're talking about yourself, but the natural instinct of the choleric in control is to be fueled by anger. Something happened, maybe they were challenged in some way, maybe they felt like someone was getting ahead and they want to keep up because they're competitive. The need for importance, the need to shine, the need to always be the one in the spotlight. That is very characteristic of the choleric, and I experienced a lot of that. And before knowing my temperament, that was dangerous, and it burned a lot of bridges. And so the cool thing about learning about my temperament is that doesn't change you automatically. It just makes you aware of things. And so when your intentions are not clear, when your intentions are not pure, when you're being fueled out of anger or competition or the need for importance, those are what we call catabolic emotions. And so nothing positive comes out of that. Even if we achieve, and even if we win the competition, and even if we're ahead of the pack, in the process of doing that, we're burning bridges and we're hurting people, and so ultimately it's not something positive. And you want to be able to reframe those ideas in a way that are not causing all these issues in your life, and that you're walking out and showing up in the world as the best version of yourself. And really, that's the older I get, that's really my intention is to yes, get things done, but in the process not burn bridges, not have people be mad at me. That is not what I intend to do. And this day and age, it's no longer about winning. It's more about a win-win situation. It wasn't like that for a very long time, and I think for a lot of cholerics that don't know their particular temperament, they could be faced with that. They could figure out, well, why am I burning so many bridges, and why am I ticking so many people off? And when you look back, it's that need to win. It's that need to always be in control. It's that need to have the last word. And I once heard in a movie say the saying, "The quiet man in the room is the most powerful man." And I continue to work on that. Continue to try to just stay quiet, allow others to lead. Empowering. I'm constantly empowering my coaches and friends and family to lead, and listening to others and just being silent, because you learn more when you're quiet than when you're actually speaking. And so that's something that's been really hard for me, but little by little, I've been able to embrace that, and it's been empowering in my life. Last but not least, finding a mentor, someone that you respect, and just following that person. Being under authority for me has been really, really hard all my life because of the way I grew up, because of a lot of dysfunctionality there. But learning about my temperament, learning that I am a choleric in control, gave me the possibility to just take the back seat and just be quiet and find someone that I could follow, that I respect. And sometimes when your mentors tell you certain things, sometimes they don't make sense, and sometimes you may even think that they're wrong. But just being humble enough to be quiet and listen when someone gives you a diet plan, when someone gives you an exercise plan. If you're hiring a coach, if you're hiring a dietitian, if you're hiring someone that's going to guide you in any way, shape, or form, and you're paying this person, you went out of your way to find this person, pay this person, and then when you get there, you don't listen to what they have to say, then what was the point of doing all that? And so once you go through all the trouble of finding the mentor, paying the mentor, and getting in front of the mentor, just be silent and just learn and go through the process. And if your mentor was wrong, at least you learned a lesson in humility and just being silent and being wise, because being silent is wise. It's a wise thing to do. So if you're a choleric in control, I would suggest being aware of all these things, embracing a more anabolic path. In other words, something that's more positive. And you heard about all these things, allowing people to lead, empowering others to lead, listening to others, finding a mentor, and just taking the backseat and letting others lead instead of you being the one that always needs to lead. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Next temperament I'm going to be speaking about is the phlegmatic, and I live with one, so it's been amazing, and God's plan is always perfect, and she balances me out. And this is why God brought us together. Phlegmatics are incredible people in the area of control. Usually that second temperament that follows, and I'll explain a little bit more about that, is the dominant one. But I'll give you some of the traits in the phlegmatic in our next conversation, and I hope you got something out of it. Have an amazing day. Spend time with family, and remember that the only thing that is important in this life is the memories you create with the people you love. So go do some of that, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Love you. Bye-bye.